dumping ground in Africa. And what I keep saying, because we have not really industrialized, we're only exporting, raw materials. So what is happening is that people are actually importing, what's going on is that we're importing poverty and exporting jobs
wealth, out. Yes. So it's a mathematical equation that will never make us poor.
We'll never make it, yes. We're saying that, yes, we're going to grow. I mean, you take a country like Nigeria, we're saying that, yes, by 2050, Nigeria will be number 3 in terms of population in the world.
Yeah, young people, yeah.
Young people. But then, how many things are we producing in Africa, believing in our own this? Because there's nobody, Americans will not come, or Japanese or whatever, to come and develop our own economy. So we have to do it. So our major job is that we are the drivers, whether good or bad. And if you look at most of the 14 African countries where we are, where they have limestone, we went and debottleneck their cement issues. Let me give you an example. When we went to Zambia, we couldn't even have cement to build a factory. It was very difficult. We went to Ethiopia. I mean, today, if we shut down our factory in Ethiopia, they will run into trouble because the foreigners have no interest in increasing the capacity. They have interest in making more money on a smaller supply.
Yeah.
So really, not only me, other Africans, we must get together, we must assist each other, we must go to banks like Afrexim Bank and show them what we have so that we can fully industrialize Africa and make sure the AFCTA works. Sometimes when I hear African countries looking for fertilizer, I say, but we have a lot. Nigeria produces 6 million tons. And we did all this within the period of 5 years, both ourselves and Indorama. So that's actually enough if it's urea. That's number one. Number two, other countries that they don't have gas or whatever, then they have urea, which we can now freely trade between us. Okay? And then now you have the petroleum product. Petroleum product, we are going to use 650,000 barrels per day, which is a lot. So it can satisfy the entire West Africa and some of the Central African countries like Angola and Co. It's a very huge capacity. We have 900,000 tons of polypropylene, and we're doing more of plastics. So this will actually help in terms of free trade. I remember what I keep saying is that yes, AFCTA is the greatest idea. It will help to grow all our economies. It will create massive amount of jobs. Most of these youth that we have that are littering around, they will be able to have jobs. But we have to cooperate. We have to make sure that things move. I don't want to now be in a position where I used to be, because right now I have the African passport. But the African Union passport allows you to move around, even though there are about 2-3 countries that are not allowing, they are not agreeing up to now. I don't know why. But you see, if I have to get a visa to get into country A as an African, and now we go with a British guy or maybe a Nigerian, it has happened to me, a Nigerian holding British passport, he was allowed in, and we're arguing, debating about my visa, and I'm the one, and I'm the one with the money.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine?
So I think what maybe African countries they need to do is that why don't you give Africans visa on arrival? That will facilitate trade.
Yes.
If you are making life difficult for me, there's no way I'll go and invest.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, without mentioning a name, when we're building factories all over, we invested about $620 million in South Africa, actually the biggest African investment. And then a neighboring country, I don't want to mention the name, and they say, okay, fine, come and, actually Angola. They say,
okay, it's Angola.
Come and invest.
Yes, okay.
And I said that, no, I won't invest in Angola because getting even visa was difficult. Yes.
Yeah.
So, this thing we must free up and make sure that we allow Africans to move in. You can see, okay, fine. Today, when you talk to them, they say, I don't know, it's about security. But then I say, okay, fine. So most of these guys disturbing us in Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and co. These guys, they don't have a visa. They don't even need a visa. They come through the land. So if they don't need a visa, why, me that I have money, I want to invest, you are harassing me? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So please, as Africans, we must actually, take this sort of political will in removing all these obstacles. Because, I mean, today you look at it, if I ask you today, what do you think is the easiest visa to get today? And they used to be the most difficult.
Rwanda?
Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
But it has actually opened up the economy. The economy is booming. Saudis are making too much money. Hotels that I used to go and pay $500, they are charging almost $2,000 because they are having avalanche of people arriving there. So why don't we even do something? We can say, okay, fine. If you have a visa since we don't trust ourselves in terms of security, it's okay, fine. If you have a visa of UK or visa of European Union, visa of Canada, visa of America, when you come to Africa, we give you visa. Because those countries must have done all the security checks before they issue a visa. So let us latch behind
That's a clever idea.
But please, since I've seen a lot of our leaders here, what I think we need to do, we need to, first of all, make sure the regional markets, they have to work. The regional markets, they have to work. Because, you see, right now, we are not allowing free trade, but the other side that are working against us, the smugglers, they are having a free trade. Okay, because, you can move goods from Benin, for example, into Nigeria. But those guys, you see them loading rice, loading stuff, and, going through the forest borders that we have. So, the African continent is one of the continents that I think it is a hidden story. It is a story that I believe when you have faith, you invest, you will make quite a lot of money. It's true, there are risks here and there, but there are also a lot of areas of mitigating risk. Once you do your own calculation, then you move in, and definitely the story is good.
I'm going to ask you one last question now, because I said it earlier before, that all this work we're doing is not really for us, it's for our children and our children's children, the next generation of Africans. How do we create 10 more Dangotes? Well, what's your advice